I want to start by asking you to consider some general principles in making your decision about standing, and that's why I've offered for your consideration, and I don't propose to spend a lot of time on them, but really two rulings on standings in other public inquiries. The first one is Commissioner Gomery's decision in his ruling on standing in July 5th of 2004. I don't know if you have a copy before you.
I do.
But just by way of general principles, it's my submission that as a starting point in terms of Mr. Schreiber's application for standing for Part 2, it's important to keep in mind some of the general principles that Commissioner Gomery outlined on page 2 of his standing decision. And the starting point in my submission is that at about the middle of the page on page 2, Commissioner Gomery turns his mind to guiding principles, and he says that I am committed to ensuring that the inquiry is both fair and thorough, and in that the course of the inquiry obtain and consider all relevant information relating to the issues identified in the terms of reference. The factual part, as you probably know, was broken down into two branches. The second branch related to the source or the tracing of monies. But just by way of general principles, I wanted to offer this for your consideration because it's my submission that it would be important to have Mr. Schreiber participate in Part 2, and I do fully appreciate that Part 2 is different. It's a policy review by way of expert input and less of a factual inquiry, but I'll deal with that later in my submissions if I may. And then the other principle that Commissioner Gomery referred to in his ruling decision was on page 3, and he talks about the test that we're dealing with today. Just below the middle of the page, what constitutes a substantial and direct interest in the subject matter of the inquiry. Based upon what has been decided in comparable cases, the interest of the applicant may be the protection of a legal interest in the sense that the outcome of the inquiry may affect the legal status or property interests of the applicant, or it may be an insubstantial as the applicant's sense of well-being or fear of an adverse effect upon his or her reputation. Even if such a fear proves to be unfounded, it may be serious and objectively reasonable enough to warrant party or intervener status in the inquiry.